My vision suddenly blurred. I felt a cold wind on my cheek and I could see the city in the distance. Where was I? So I guess this is our delusion. So we better keep concentrating on that machine if we can. More mind control. I panicked and tried to use my D-sword. It was gone. The D-sword had disappeared. I concentrated as best I could. I imagined the pale light of the sword. Come on, come on. I couldn't see him or sense him, but Dad was probably right in front of me with this huge D-sword. But I couldn't make my D-sword appear. I couldn't see it. I couldn't find it. It was always supposed to appear when I imagined it. Really? That's a dick move. Serica was standing there on the roof, and so was... Wait, but neither Sakuma nor I was there for this conversation. How do we have the exact words? So this is a cruel twist of fate, right? Like, am I gonna have to kill Nono myself in order to kill Dad because he's disguising himself as Nono? It was Nono. Nono was standing in front of me, talking. Nono is... My sense of logic dispelled the hope that was forming in my mind. This was mind control. Dad's power was causing me to hallucinate. The two of them were right in front of me, but it didn't seem to know I was there. Suddenly, Serica changed. The smiling, happy girl from the newspaper club disappeared. She became a cold, remorseless killer. I knew I was being mind-controlled, but couldn't help myself. I felt a cold chill in my heart, and all the hairs on my body stood up on end. And it's gonna be real weird when we see Nono's D-sword. Serica's D-sword appeared in her hand. Nono didn't seem surprised, she just glared at Serica. Stop it. Stop it, Serica. I screamed as Serica stepped forward, but there was no sign that she heard me. I tried to summon my D-sword, but it didn't work. I tried to get between the two of them. And I realized I couldn't move. My legs felt like they were frozen to the ground. But my head was clear. I couldn't let this happen. I knew I had to stop it, but... Serica and Nono's D-sword slammed into each other. There was a flash so bright I was forced to close my eyes. And Nono's D-sword cracked. Serica kept going forward. There was no hesitation on her face. No matter how much I screamed, they didn't hear me. I couldn't move. Serica crossed right in front of me, carrying her gigantic, deadly weapon. And in the next moment... It felt like Nono looked at me. And then, Sarika's D-sword ran her through. I felt a cold wind on my cheek and I could see the city in the distance. We're not looping this, are we? That would suck. I could hear a sob. I'd been crying without realizing it. I looked around, forgetting even to wipe the tears from my cheeks. The roof was lit up by the moon. There was nothing here. There was no one here. Of course there was no sign of Sarika or Nono's body. Then what was that? It was all mind control. All just a hallucination. Even though, well, it was a fake vision, but like, that was all accurate dialogue, except for where the D-sword cracked and everything, because we, the players, didn't see that, but I have reason to believe that was real. It was a fake vision that my dad had created. That's right. It was just like a movie. It had to be. Nono died at Sarika's hand. Sarika had killed Nono. That had really happened. I'd seen it. But it wasn't happening now. It was all part of the past. There was no changing it. Oh, that's fucked. So we are looping. I can't even believe it. That's sick and twisted, dude. Again. The two of them were standing there just as they were before. The two of them played out the exact same scene as before. There was still no sign that they'd noticed me. My heart began to pound loudly again. I remembered how it felt to hold Nono's body in my hands, the smell of her blood and the way the warmth drained from her body, and the way her eyes would never look at me again. Calm down. I tried to tell myself that again and again. This was part of the past. Screaming wouldn't change it. Maybe this wasn't even part of the past. I hadn't heard this conversation. Yeah, okay, there we go. Although, don't tell anybody, but that was part of the past. Everything except the fact that Sarika had killed Nono might be a hallucination that my dad had created. This is what's killing me, though. How would the dad know? I tried to run away, growing ever more frustrated at my unmoving legs, but nothing worked. That's right. The real me wasn't even here. I was on top of the stage, trapped in a hallucination, with Dad and his gigantic D-sword standing right in front of me. Sarika raised her D-sword and advanced. It was coming back. I never wanted to go through that again, but it was coming back. I looked away. No, I tried to look away. But my head wouldn't move. I couldn't take my eyes off it. Nono looked at me. Okay, obviously this is different. Sarika killed Nono again. If we clear our head enough, can we change the past to break the illusion? We wouldn't actually be changing the past, but could we change it in our head? Oh my god. And then I found myself back at the beginning once more. On the cold moonlit roof. I wrapped my arms around my body tightly, trying to warm myself against the freezing air. What was that? Nono had looked at me. I'd seen her looking at me, I was sure of it. She'd seen me? No, that was impossible. I wasn't really here. That was Nono's voice I'd heard, and she had been looking at me. If I was a real gigolomaniac, did that mean I had the power to change the past? I mean, I would like that for the sake of branching paths in the story, but that's a reach. If that was true, was that the real Kurisu, not a hallucination? I mean, if this all is mind control, this could just be a way of messing with me. Oh, she looked this time, but that's all a fake, right? My head hurt and I was losing the ability to think. No, this was an illusion. It was all an illusion. There was no way I could change the past. On my third time seeing the exact same thing, I finally closed my eyes. Stop it. I don't want to see Nono die anymore. I put my hands over my ears to block out the sound, but I could hear them speaking the same words. The last conversation Nono would ever have flowed directly into my head. I didn't have to look to know what was happening. I knew the expressions on their faces. I knew the looks in their eyes. The angle that Serica held her D-sword at, and even how she was going to swing it, I knew it all. Yeah, this might just be part of the delusion, which is really messed up. I felt warm blood splash on my face the second I closed my eyes. What? There was no time even to scream. Did we get hit in real life this time? Because, well, we did feel the cold wind, so maybe the blood was still in the delusion? I kept my eyes closed tight, but I could feel the wind on my cheeks again. I was stuck frozen on that roof again. The muscles in my face had tensed up. There was nothing funny happening, but I was letting out a noise that sounded like laughter. My teeth were chattering. I covered my ears, but the words went right into my brain. I didn't know how I could possibly be any more confused. What was that? Why was Nono in front of me? I didn't want to open my eyes. I wanted to keep them shut. But for some reason, the moment Nono was killed, they opened on their own. Nono kept dying in front of me. Nono had taken care of me and kept me safe before I'd even woken up from my coma. From my perspective, that was before I'd even known her. She was part of my family. She was the only big sister I had. And she kept dying over and over. My head hurt, but the pain didn't even work as an anchor to keep my mind connected to reality. This Nono was a hallucination. I knew that. But the words she said were ripping apart my mind. Nono looked at me and kept asking. Were those her last words before she was killed? Her dying screams, her final message? No more. I don't want to see her die anymore. Please, stop it. My eyes were closed, but I could see her death repeated again and again in my mind. The D-sword running through her chest, the blood everywhere, the tiny sound coming out of her throat like air leaking from a bag. Her blood was hot when it landed on my face. It didn't have that metallic smell, but it was hot. I couldn't tell anymore. Was this really a hallucination? Maybe this was the real No-No. And maybe this is what she really thought. Why didn't you save me? Why didn't you save Yui? Why did you try and solve the case at all? I told you not to do anything dangerous. I told you not to get revenge. I heard a sound somewhere. It was the sound of something snapping. What? I didn't want to see anymore. I didn't want to hear anymore. I didn't want to feel anymore. I closed off my mind, wanting nothing more than that.
Oi, oi. そこで殻に閉じこもるなよ。罪の意識だけで立ち止まるお前なんざ、もう見飽きてんだ。
Yeah, there we go. I heard a voice from somewhere speaking directly into my head. But I held my hands over my ears anyway. I didn't want to hear anything.
しょうがねえな。なら、立ち止まれないようにするしかねえか。ウッドバーンヘロンは知ってるか？じゃあ、また1ヶ月後にな。楽しく壊れろよ。
Holy shit. And then, like a computer monitor being powered off, everything disappeared. What? What was this? It was dark. I couldn't see anything. I was in a huge dark empty space like nothing I'd ever experienced. I couldn't even tell if my eyes were open or not. I tried blinking, but the darkness didn't change. I tried to rub my eyes to see if that helped, but my hands wouldn't move. No, not just my hands. Nothing moved. Huh? There was no sensation of standing. There was no feeling of weight in my body. Was I lying down? No. Was I floating? It was like being in zero gravity, or floating in water with no resistance. Like my body was drifting along. The only thing that existed was the quiet. I could hear the sound of my heart echoing. But even in the overwhelming darkness, I felt a little better. Anything was better than seeing No-No die again and again. It didn't matter what. Compared to hearing No-No's last words over and over, I did nothing but float there. It was like being almost asleep, but there was something stopping me from falling asleep altogether. It felt weird and unpleasant. I tried to at least do something about the floating, but there was nothing to grab onto, nowhere to stand, and my body wouldn't move. I wanted something solid. I tried my best to find it. Suddenly I realized, where was I? What was I doing here? Oh! No. No! This was more mind control. This darkness was another hallucination. Ah! I tried to scream and wave my arms, but there was no sound and no movement. If I couldn't move, I at least wanted to feel something with one of my senses. It could be a bright light, screaming, even pain. An awful bitter taste, or even a horrible smell. If I didn't find something fast, I'd lose track of where I ended and the darkness began. I know! What about my shoulder injury from when my dad had knocked me into the seats? I desperately tried to feel the pain in my shoulder, but it didn't work. I couldn't feel anything, even whether or not it was bleeding. It felt like the darkness was gradually burying me, like ants swarming on a piece of candy. The boundary line between my own body and the rest of the world got even blurrier. Oh, no way! I finally remembered a certain piece of information. I remembered what my dad said just before this happened. Woodburn Heron, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know what that is. But I didn't expect the darkness. I thought he was going to leave us in that illusion for a month. That would have sucked. This also sucks, but oh man. I matched the name with what was going on. That was a famous experiment, if I remembered right. Heron's sensory deprivation experiment. He would put subjects in a sound-treated room that was completely silent, then blindfold them so they couldn't see, then tie them up with a straitjacket kept at exactly their body temperature to take away their sense of touch. Except for eating simple meals and defecating, they were kept on a bed at all times. The experiment he'd done was to see how long they could last. The results had been far less than what he'd expected. The most any of them could endure was 2 to 3 days. And we got a month! Cool! The worst ones would complain of disturbed thinking after only a few hours. If they continued with the experiment anyway, they would start hearing and seeing things and almost go mad. A human being can't endure long periods of time with no stress or stimulation. The experiment was banned now because of its dangerousness. I remembered something else. Something terrifying. What did my dad said? Yeah, see you in a month. I was supposed to spend a month like this? I screamed, but I couldn't hear my voice. The first change was to my sense of vision. It was after about 2 days had passed. Oh my god, by my reckoning. It would have been about dinner time. I wasn't sleepy or hungry. At some point I just began to count numbers. Well, I just begun. 1 second, 2 seconds. It was meaningless, but I felt like I'd go mad if I didn't do something. When I had just about passed 100,000 seconds, the darkness in front of me suddenly began to shine. What? Who's there? It wasn't a camera flash or a light bulb, it was just a blurry glow. That was all. I couldn't see anything else or even move. When I saw it, I lost track of my number and started over. The light came every 100,000 seconds. What? What is this? A day was 60 times 60 times 24, so 86,400 seconds. Perfect. I decided to round up and call each 100,000 seconds a day. When there was no light, I was bored. I wished so many times for something to happen. Someone, come here. Even Dad, I didn't care. I'd rather be fighting a battle with the D-swords that I knew I couldn't win. No, actually, I'd rather be stabbed with a D-sword. I wanted to feel pain. I thought that when the light came for the 30th time, I could escape. Because that would mean a month had passed. A month was 30 days. But nothing happened. The light just kept coming at the same pace as before. When the light came again after 30 days had passed, I stopped counting how many times it had come. I stopped counting to 100,000, too. What was the point of counting anyway? No. I heard that clearly. I started hearing voices sometimes when I neared the 30th appearance of the light. Are you just going to die like this? What's Miyashita Park like? Hey, Miyashiro, how do you know again? Adios gracias. Why did you leave me to die? You idiot, are you just going to die here? The newspaper club's just getting started, right? Tell me, why didn't you save me? It hurt so much when I died. You ever hear of Woodburn Heron? The voices came and disappeared without listening to my responses. I at least wanted to see their faces. I was already starting to forget what everyone looked like. Maybe if I saw them again, I could stop the darkness from swallowing up all my memories. Really? Really? You'll do that for me? Wait. No, That's not true. Of course I'm not lonely. No, I wanted to tell you to be careful. Dad's power is... What was it again?
どうした？佐久間はどこにいるんだよ。それがわかんねえと殺しに行けねえだろ。
さっさと言え。時間の無駄だ。
Huh? That's strange. He should be right there. Huh? There? Where's there?
タクルさん、ウッドバーンヘロンって知ってますか？
Don't you know I'm a right-sider? Of course I know. He's the guy who came up with the theory that a day is 86,400 seconds. Huh? Amazing, right? I was slowly breaking and melting away. Suddenly, I felt something stabbing me somewhere. Huh? It was the pain I'd been longing for, but I didn't care anymore. I was just tired of it. No, please don't stab me. I don't want to die. Because it hurts.
痛みなんて感じてないじゃない。タクル、あなた、本当にそこにいるの？
I thought I was going to hear more stabbing. Nono kept stabbing me as if she was trying to find out where I was. When that sound finally stopped, I heard a wet slopping noise. I could tell her hands were jammed inside my body, rummaging through my guts. I could imagine the blood. But Nono was right, I didn't feel any pain. That's strange. It hurt a moment ago. Nono, let me see you. I'm sorry, you could kill me if you want.
なぜ?
Because I want to see you. I want to see anybody. I'm lonely. Nono? Nono! Why? Why did you leave? No, wait. Was that really Nono? Was that Nono's voice? Did she really talk like that? Wait a second. What was Nono's last name? That orphanage. I was blanking out on the place's name. There were 2 sisters there. What were their names? Or wait, was it a brother and sister? Everything was turning black. Who was that girl who always told me not to lie? Who was the one in the white lab coat? The one who didn't talk, the one who always seemed scared. Who'd been stabbing me a moment ago?
わからないの? ひどい先輩っすね.
Shut up. Shut up. Suddenly the noises started to bother me. I didn't want to be criticized by these people when I didn't even know their names. Please, somebody kill... Ow! I was surprised by a sudden fierce pain in my head. Thud, thud. I could feel the blood flowing into my head. How many months had it been since I'd felt pain so clearly like this? No. How many years? Or maybe decades?
いつまでそんなことをしてるんですか? 私の方がずっと痛かったんだけど.
I said, shut up. All of you, shut up. I screamed back at the voices. I don't know who you people are. All of you, just disappear.
助けて。助けて。